Yeah, that's right. Calvin Pate from the DMV. Mr. Fingers. This week in UGA football. Get ready, baby. Let's go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What it is. How are you doing up there? How are y'all doing down front? How are y'all doing along the sides? How are y'all doing backstage? Camera crew, you good? You got the angles? You got me and Colin, we're in frame? Okay, good. Welcome to this week's edition of This Week in UGA Football. I'm coming to you live from the 405 where the wind comes whipping down the plane straight in out of Zagniv's remix, straight out of Zagniv's Central. I am the man with the plan, Mr. Fingers, and that guy right there. He is the brother from another, the sexy mother Hubbard, the ace of base in the place in your face. I have just been placed in charge of garbage. Do you have any that requires disposal? Wakanda forever. Make sure to stop by McDowell's and get yourself a memorial McFlurry in honor of Mr. McDowell. May he forever rest in peace. What's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm doing good, man. Sorry, just waking up, man. Took me a little nap after a fun-filled trip, field trip, I should say, with the B man today for his with his school. We went to the DC Zoo. Yeah, like to slip my mind this morning as I was on Race Against Time, but I made it. It was great. I went there last year with his other class, and we were on the yellow bird or the blue bird, whatever you want to call it, the yellow missile. You know, those buses. It was a bit of a you're smelling the diesel and a little bit of the rough ride and everything. This time though, we were fortunate to have a charter bus, and it was awesome. It was so awesome to have a charter bus, a smooth ride, smooth seats, smooth smelling. Like a Cadillac in that joint, man. It was nice. It was very nice.
Oh, that sounds nice. But yeah, that sounds real nice.
Got some good pictures. Got walked around, looked at some animals. It was a beautiful day for it too. Because the last time we went, it was overcast and raining and stuff. Today was not too cool. It was very nice. So good day to be outside walking around. That's for sure.
Oh, that is 100% what is up right there. Yours truly this weekend. I do the PA announcing for the Putnam City West Pirates. They're a great group of kids. They've struggled a little bit this season. I haven't shared any of that here on the show. We've talked about it off camera, but I am happy to say that this past weekend for homecoming, the Putnam City Pirates won their first game of the season against the Capitol Hill Red Wolves, and they looked real good doing it. So it was really great.
That's
The crowd was into it. I got to say touchdown Pirates for the first time all season. Like, man, these kids have really struggled, but they're out there and they got a whole lot of never say die in them. Unfortunately, with being late in the season, they won't have a winning record, but definite shouts out to the Putnam City. Did I say Pirates? Oh my Lord, they're gonna kill me. The Putnam City Patriots. I'm gonna have to edit this. Okay, the Putnam City Patriots won their homecoming game. Absolutely awesome. Shouts out to the booth crew. And most of all, big Reverend Red and Black want to come out before he's supposed to. Big shouts out to Miss Sharon Beasley, the lady that just kind of went, hey, you want to do some PA announcing? You've got a great voice for it. And it has been an absolute blast doing it and just watching these kids play and develop over the season. So that was the long and short of my entire weekend. And then, of course, there was a game on TV on Sunday. I don't know if you saw it or not, but there was a game on TV on Sunday, and it was I know we talking college ball, but I got to get this one out right here. Uh, and it was absolutely amazing. And so the Falcons won, and they won, and they swept the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Sorry to our Buccaneers fans out there, but I have to play this because I don't want to take up. I have to play this, and I'll probably play it tomorrow night on the NFL show if they let me. But I got to play this one right here, brother, in honor of the Falcons winning their game. In honor of the Falcons winning their game, because there was a lot of times when the Falcons seriously. God have mercy. I'm trying to find the video. Hang and work with me, y'all. Please. Y'all pray for your boy. Your boy's struggling. Hold on a second. I know how to get it. I know exactly how to get it. I was gonna try and put it. I was gonna try and put it with the other ones I have for the show. What in the hell? That's not it. That's not how we do it. There we go. What is this thing? What is you doing, baby? Hold on. Upload new video right there. We gonna get it, y'all. Like I said, pray for me. I'm special. There we go. And this is I'm happy to see the Falcons leading the NFC South now because Colin and I and other Falcons fans remember these days.
Lord have mercy. Hey, y'all come look at it. They beating them babies up over there. Y'all stop beating on them babies like that. Y'all gonna help them babies. Them babies need some milk. They need some milk. Run, Maddie, run. Ooh, that's bad. That's bad, y'all. It's bad. Y'all, ooh. They not rising up today, that's for sure. Hey, can somebody call Sarah McLaughlin with the sad music and have her come and raise some money for these boys because they need it. They done got beat up again this week. We need to put some ice on your eyes. It's going to be all right. Stop crying.
Man, I remember those days. I absolutely remember those days. So to see where they are right now is a marvelous, marvelous thing. So to get into we're going to just go ahead and jump right on into it. A couple of weeks ago, Georgia had the bye week this week, so they did not play. Still ranked number 2. We'll get into that a little bit later. Still ranked number 2 in the AP rankings. But you guys remember that they did definitely go to Texas and lay the hammer down with a 30-15 win. And, of course, they've got the game to end all games coming up this coming weekend against the Gators, which we're going to get into a little bit later. But first of all, before we even get into that, let's go around the SEC. My brother, it was a weekend full of football. And first and foremost, Texas and Vandy. I know Vandy Chris is watching. Vandy Chris is watching. Vandy is not playing. Somebody that we know and love told us that we should just put away the little brother, and I'm right along with him. Is it time for us to admit that Vandy is it's not just a fluke that Vandy is good this season?
No, I mean I think they're what Clark Lee has actually been the proponent from the get go. I mean, he said that they were going to be in the thicket of the SEC, and I'm damn if they ain't. They're not there. I mean, they could have won this game, this weekend. I mean, they were up on Texas. I don't think they were up on Texas, but they wouldn't go away. You know what I mean? They would not go away.
Absolutely
they actually
not.
had a chance to win this game.
Absolutely not. They hung in there. It kind of was reminiscent of another game where another team who was an underdog, launched that comeback and almost took the game away. Like this is not the team where you go out and beat up on them and then just play keep away for the next 3 quarters. This is the team that if you let up off the brakes, they're going to catch up with you. Now, I will readily admit that they owe a big part of that to one Mr. Diego Pavia, and what an amazing story he has been. I mean, you're talking about a kid who essentially nobody wanted. Like nobody wanted him to come and play, and look at what he's doing, man. I mean, the Vanderbilt Commodores are 5-3 now by ranking structure. They're eighth in the SEC, but you also have to stop and think about the fact that you've got one, two, three teams locked up. You got three teams locked up with one loss apiece. You got one, two, three, four teams locked up with two losses apiece. And then Vanderbilt is in the next group with one, two, three, four teams with three losses apiece. I know they got to rank them out, and there's tiebreakers and all of that. But realistically speaking, Vandy is in some good company, and I want to go ahead. I want to go ahead and give them. I want to go ahead and give Vandy the air horn for real, and a round of applause because they have been doing the doggone thing this season.
Well, to your point about Pavia. To your point about Pavia, that like Quentin Ewers. I mean, like the past couple of games, he's had several picks. He had two in this game. Although he did have 3 touchdowns, he had 288 yards, but had 2 picks. When do you think there'll be a time when we see Arch come in the game with more of a defining factor, or more part of a game? Like, will he come in? Will he be replaced? Arch replace Ewers? Or is it time yet?
I think if it really calls for it, they will. Case in point, what we saw in the game against Georgia. But we also have seen, if the game gets that far out of hand, what can Arch really do? You know what I mean? Right. Quinn is. I am pulling that up right now. Quinn Ewers is a junior. He's a junior, and he may come back for another season. He may come back for another season. He may go ahead and try and cast his lot in the draft this season. But we don't really know. He's had 2 full seasons essentially 2 full seasons in Texas now, with the exception of a couple of games the game that he set out. So I don't know if he doesn't come back, if he goes in the draft this year. Definitely thinking, without question, an Arch will be the guy for sure. Going to go ahead before we get too deep into it and send shouts out to those of you in the comments. Our buddy Vandy Chris, the #1 Vandy fan in the nation. I will go ahead and make that disclaimer right there. And our guy Nathan Snell of Nathan Snell Sports Talk, he's on all the time, every time. Appreciate you guys tuning in this evening. But real talk. It's hard to do that voice, man. You gotta prep for it and put honey, hot water.
Well, you just made me cough. You saw that, right? I coughed for you.
Yeah. Gotta go ahead and get a sip in right now. But yeah, we got to keep moving because we got a lot of stuff we want to get to today, and we don't want to run too terribly long tonight. But definitely time to admit that Vandy is good. So let's also keep it moving. There was another game of major importance that took place this weekend, and that was Texas A&M versus LSU. Both come in ranked, both come in undefeated, and both of them come in undefeated in conference play. This game was very pivotal to the direction of who's got a shot at the playoff, the conference championship, and who doesn't. So right now, Texas A&M, the sole team in conference with 0 losses. Okay, and now what that means at this point for us is, and then we'll get into some talk about the gameplay in a minute. What that means for us specifically is, I've looked at Texas A&M schedule. Upcoming, they have South Carolina, New Mexico State, Auburn, and Texas. 4 games left. Of those 4 games, the only one I see that they could potentially really lose is Texas. And so what happens is one of 2 things needs to happen. We got to win out, and if they win out, then we face each other in the championship. Now, if Texas beats Texas A&M, we have the tiebreaker over Texas because we beat Texas. I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead of it because we've got some games ahead of us too. But assuming for the sake of everything, we went out. Texas A&M loses to Texas. We got the tiebreaker over Texas. I think that would still put us together in the SEC championship. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it. But that's what I'm looking at right now, just based on how the rankings are lining up right now. But then also you still have Tennessee with one loss, one conference loss, and LSU with one conference loss. That's assuming that chaos completely does not break out. Now let's get back to this game, this LSU Texas A&M game, man. What the hell happened to Nussmeier?
I don't know, man. And this game, if you look at the box score, I'm just looking at the box score again. I looked at it again, previously, but I didn't really evidently look at it too too carefully. Just looking at the box score, he was 50% of his passing with 405 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna stop you right there. You hit exactly what I wanted to touch on. Did you hear what he said?
All right.
Nussmeier threw for 405 yards. For comparison, Connor Wegman and Marcel Reed combined for 134 yards passing. We will get to the rushing in a minute. Those are y'all that will say, well, what about the rushing? Texas? No. I just want you to understand something. If you got one man pass for 405 yards and you got two quarterbacks that can't barely get over 100, generally speaking, you don't lose.
No.
Generally speaking.
Let alone by 15, you know.
Now, here's the kicker. He threw 3 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
He threw 3 interceptions. And on the flip side of that coin, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll let you continue. I was getting ready to steal your
thunder. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, that's where I was going. I was like, it makes absolutely no sense looking at the box score here. And you know, if you didn't watch it on television, you know, you'd be like, what happened? You know, what happened was I have no idea. But
I watched it.
Yeah. But I mean, I saw the I guess the latter part of it. But then when A&M took off, you know, my family and didn't have nothing to, you know, he didn't know what to do. So
I mean, dude, I was at the first half, I was like, oh, they got this well in hand. They're getting ready to put Texas A&M away. You know, they're gonna shut up, you know, because a lot of people don't like Texas A&M because, you know, the culture, and they call them a little cultish and yada yada blah blah. I was gonna play that. Wait a minute, I was gonna play that video, but I don't have that video, the one you just referenced. But I mean, seriously, 17-7 going into the half, and then you turn around.
Oh, bro! Like,
and you turn around, you give up 31 in the second half.
Yeah,
there's no way you can win. Doesn't matter how many yards you pass for.
All right.
Yeah, and we got post-game footage of Brian Kelly, his interview. So check this out.
Opportunities there in that first half, but you're only down by 4. What was your message?
We can't play any worse than that, I don't think. I mean, it's my first game. Maybe we can.
That will never, ever get old. That will never, ever get old. But yeah, that's basically what happened. They went out there and they played like it was their very first game. I mean, dude, Aaron Anderson had 126 yards and a touchdown. Kyron Lacey had 106 yards. Mason Taylor had a receiving touchdown. Now, he only threw 2 receiving touchdowns. That's a big drawback. And he had one rushing he had the one rushing touchdown on his own. Ironically, he finished the game with -3 yards rushing despite his one touchdown. But Texas A&M came to play, and I guess do you think that the young fellas over at LSU kind of came in thinking they had the game in hand? I mean, you know how those Utes.
Did you say Utes?
Yeah, 2 Utes.
What is a Ute?
What is a Ute? Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, there's got to be some kind of explanation.
I mean, there's no explaining it. So, you know, yep. So LSU takes the fall. They have their first conference loss. They fall to 6-2. Texas A&M improves to 7-1 and 5-0 in the conference. LSU has up next, and LSU better strap up, because if they thought that Texas A&M was hard, They got Bama.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
got Bama coming up, and I believe they're playing at Bama. That one I don't know. I think they're playing at Bama, or is Bama coming to LSU? I'm about to tell you in a second. Um, Come on, computer. Yes, the marvels of the modern internet. They are playing Alabama at home. They're playing Alabama in Death Valley, so they will have the home crowd on their side. And I'm pretty sure the LSU fans will be absolutely raucous. I'm pretty sure they'll play neck and get fined. But you know how that goes. So, yep, Texas A&M runs over LSU 38-23, makes Nussmeier, the gunslinger, look pretty pedestrian, even in a Herculean effort of 405 yards passing, but he has 3 picks.
Yeah.
So, as we mentioned before, LSU has Bama, Florida, Vandy, and Oklahoma coming up. And I see Bama being a little bit of a tongue twister for LSU. Now, on the flip side of that, like I said, Texas A&M has South Carolina, New Mexico State, Auburn, and Texas. Those of you that are in the chat, please feel free to jump in and throw your questions in there, questions, comments. We got plenty. We're going to keep this thing moving on along. Like we said here, A&M and LSU did their thing. A&M and LSU did their thing. We're going to move on to a game that we did talk about Texas and Vanderbilt. Pavia didn't throw for a lot of yards, and he had a couple interceptions, and I honestly think that was the difference maker in this game. He did still run for 67 yards. Ewers had 288, but Ewers had a couple of interceptions himself, so that managed to keep that game close. But we know how that is going.
Hey, what? Let me just interject into that Texas game. So Clark, you did see where I posted in there that Clark Lee had put netting on the student section of Texas.
Yeah,
and I think that was troll level 1000.
Oh yeah, that was absolutely hilarious. Fake but funny as hell. We go. Hey, you know what? Clark Lee gets one of these. I think every time we say Clark Lee for the next few weeks, we gonna put one of those out there. Vanderbilt, even though they now have the couple of losses, this is what they have in front of them. They got 4 left. Man, this season flew by fast. Vandy has Auburn on deck, then South Carolina, LSU, and Tennessee. I think that the interstate rivalry game is going to be, as our boy used to say, a slobber knocker. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But Texas does Texas things. They managed to. Honestly, I'm just saying they held off. They held off Vanderbilt. They didn't just beat. They didn't beat Vanderbilt. They held them off. But is what it is. Some team from southeast of here played a team from southeast of here, and they beat them 34-0. But you know how that.
What did he say?
Had to get the wrong one again.
Yeah.
Golly bum, where is it? Oh, it's down here. How did it get all the way down here? The
Bama does what Bama do.
There you go. That's the one we were looking for.
I haven't seen that one in a while.
Yeah, Bama 6-2, 3-2 in conference play. They really got to win out and just to stay close to the pack to see if they can sneak in behind somebody. They blanked Missouri, but of course Missouri loses Brady Cook for the game, and that's if there was any indicator that he was heart and soul of that offense, there it is right there. Oklahoma, the Sooners took a trip down to Oxford and looked really good for 2 quarters, and then the floor fell out. Ole Miss wound up hanging 16 on them and blanking them in the second half. Ole Miss moves up to 6-2, 2-2 in conference. Oklahoma has won 1 conference game, and oddly enough, not against South Carolina. They are 1-4 total, and 4-4 lost to Ole Miss, who scored 14-26. Arkansas. Now, the not to take away from this because of who they played, but this is a perfect example of doing what you're supposed to do. You play who's on the field. Arkansas went down to Mississippi State, and they hung a 58 burger on them.
Yeah,
all 4 quarters in double digits. Mississippi State 25, Arkansas 58. Arkansas 3-2 in the conference, 5-3. Mississippi State pretty much out of the running at 1-7 and on no conference wins. Auburn, I would say Auburn snuck away with 1, but Auburn, testament to how mediocre Auburn is this year. They went down and played a very, very down and out Kentucky team and only came out with 24 points. 24-10. They only beat them by 2 touchdowns. But it is what it is. They are Auburn 3-5 with 1 conference win, oddly enough, against Kentucky. And Kentucky 3-5 and 1-5 in the conference. Some standout players here. Let's see who we got. Standout players. Jackson Dart actually threw for 311 and a touchdown in the win over Oklahoma. Milroe did what Milroe does in the Missouri game. We already talked about the others. So that's your basically your roundup around the SEC. I mean, what are you thinking going forward, man? So like I said, there are still 5 teams that are still very much alive in the race for the conference championship. Like I said, A&M undefeated. Texas has the 1 loss. They need for us to lose. God forbid, we're gonna knock on wood on that one. They need us to lose, and they need to win out. But they've got Florida, Arkansas, Kentucky, and I mean the only game I can see Texas losing is against A&M. That's the only one I see them losing. If they lose any one of those other 3 games, even if there was a playoff spot, the committee's just gonna go, bruh, you lost to Kentucky. You lost to Florida, and they might be getting ready to fire their coach. Nah, fam, have a seat. And of course, we did not talk about Tennessee. Tennessee had the week off, but Tennessee has waiting in the wings. They've got Kentucky, then Mississippi State, both of those winnable. Then we play them, and then they've got UTEP and Vandy. The two games that are going to give them the blues are going to be Georgia and Vandy. I'm just going to say it. I think that Vandy, Tennessee might be of the caliber of Auburn and Alabama when both teams were at least decent to very good.
Yeah,
I see that. I see that this year. Then we also talked about LSU. We have on deck Florida this coming weekend, Ole Miss, Tennessee, UMass, and then Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, of course, struggling. Their starter is out, so that one's a win. UMass should be a win. Florida should be a win. Ole Miss should be a win. I think Ole Miss is a good team, but I think it is still a winnable game. And I think the Volunteers is also a winnable game. There have been shown to be some cracks in Nico. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, speaking of the Ole Miss, did you see what I posted in the chat there? The ESPN's already got their pick, and they're picking Ole Miss by 59.3%. They've already got us as dogs.
Rat poison.
I'm wondering if that's a little bit due to the Kirby.
Rat poison, my guy.
Yeah.
Rat.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I can't believe it. 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now, and they've already got it picked that they got 59% that Ole Miss is going to beat us. And I'm like, all right, okay.
Well,
all right.
you know how that works. If the money starts to come in the other way, it'll start to squeal.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, to tell you the truth, what they were waiting on is they were waiting on the Georgia people to go, no, and start betting their money. So here, before we move any further, because we got to get into the Georgia stuff, and Rev is back this week. The AP polls are out today, my guy.
Yep.
And there they are. Look at me adding these new skill sets, man. I used to not be able to do this. So hey, Sean Spencer, if you're watching the replay, I'm coming for you, King. No, I'm just playing. We got Oregon at 1, us at 2. Penn State also dangerous at 3. Ohio State at 4. I do think if Ohio State loses, Ohio State has yet to play Penn State, and they got to play Michigan. They will more than likely beat Michigan. I say more than likely. They'll probably beat Michigan. But they got a tough Penn State to face. Miami is just looking resurgent. Texas is very good. Tennessee is winning. They do have some shortcomings, but Tennessee's winning. Notre Dame is doing Notre Dame things. A certain guy you and I both follow seems to be of the school of thought that maybe Notre Dame could have laid down their sword for Army, Navy this past weekend, but we won't talk about that. And then beyond that, beyond that, you got BYU, A&M, Clemson, Indiana State. Is that Indiana, Iowa, Indiana, Bama, Boise State. You guys know you see this here. So that's this week's AP poll. And if I'm counting, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 SEC teams, 8 ranked in the top 25. That's very impressive. So there we go there. So what we're gonna do right here is we need to take a quick break. We've been going at it for about half an hour. This week in UGA football, Mr. Fingers, Colin P. We will be right back. So don't y'all go anywhere. And we're back. We hope you guys missed us. Thank you so much for tuning in this week in UGA football. Mr. Fingers, Colin P. talking football for me and thee, and him and me. And me. No, it's him and me. That's what I meant to do. For us and thee and him and me. That's what I meant to do. We were just talking about
there it is.
Yeah. We were just talking about the AP poll. We'll be getting we just went all the way around the horn. There's a projection out right now of the CFP if it happened right now.
Yeah. Oh, what we're looking at.
This is what the field of 12 looks like right now. If it went down this week.
Wow.
Tulane? Really? Am I seeing that right?
What?
This must be. Is this old?
I thought it's got to be old because Tulane got beat, right? Did Tulane get beat?
Yeah, I got to go back and look. Wait a minute. Let me look at that because that was dated today. It's the only reason I pulled it.
Oregon's not even on it. Oregon's not even on it.
Yeah, this has got to be old. This has got to be old. They pulled the old bait and switch on your boy because it was definitely dated today. So we're gonna get rid of that one right there, and we've already shown that one. So we're gonna get rid of that one right there. Yeah, okay. They got me, y'all. I should have taken a closer look. I just saw today's date, and I was like, all right, we solid. Oh man. So this is the time of year, ladies and gentlemen, that every dog fan and every Gator fan looks forward to. That first weekend in November. It's circled on everybody's calendar. I say this every year. As soon as the schedules are announced, this is the one we look forward to. Good season, bad season, middle of the road season. This is the one. If both our seasons are gone to squat, this is our championship game right here. And so, you already know what it is. It is the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. UGA versus Florida. Oops, I didn't mean to go that far. That's not the one I wanted to do yet. It is Georgia versus Florida, also known as the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. Colin, you said you've been to a couple?
Oh yeah, not recently, but yeah, growing up, being only 40 miles north of Jacksonville, it's pretty easy to grab tickets and go down there. But during my high school days and younger days, my parents used to go. Yeah, been a couple of them, but I would love to go more recent. I haven't got that. I'm trying to get me myself and me and you, I should say, to get on down there.
Oh yeah, for definitely.
Have you been to any?
I have not been to a single one, sir. I haven't been to see. I told you I haven't even been to see. I haven't even been to see Georgia play since Matt Stafford was a quarterback.
Oh wow. Okay. We need to change that, my brother.
Yeah, for sure. We do. But things happen. So it's a game where anything can happen. It's a game where in 1980, a quarterback that really probably wasn't going to do much more after he left school, by the name of Buck Bellew, threw up what basically was it wasn't a prayer, but it was a shot to win the game to Lindsey Scott, and created one of the most iconic radio moments in Georgia football history, as Larry Munson calls the game. Definitely got to check out, check out. All you got to do is check out Run Lindsey Run UGA, and it will take you right to it. You can go to 1995 when the game was actually played in Athens, and Florida beat Georgia 52-17. Not one of our more one of the years we like to remember, but it happened.
Yeah.
Or you can flash forward to 2007, where Coach Kirby said, not Kirby, where Mark Rick says, it says, when you scored a touchdown, I want y'all to celebrate. And what he meant was just the offense, and Sean Marino bulls in the end zone, and the whole damn team runs out and draws an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for dancing in the end zone.
And the laundry just
flag. And Florida fans are still salty about that.
And they got redemption after that next year, if I'm not mistaken. I think they destroyed us the next year. The following year, I think they beat our ass though.
Oh yeah. I mean, and just some absolutely incredible games that took place over the course of this rivalry that will not soon be forgotten. And of course, here it comes again. This rivalry has been going on for quite some time. And there is some dispute as to when it actually started, just because of the fact that the first time that Georgia played Florida, the school was not necessarily called the University of Florida. It actually was called the Florida University Blue, the Florida University. Oh, I'm sorry, it was Florida University, but the team was not called the Gators; they were called the Blue and White. So, that's and we won that game 52-0, but they like to not claim that game. So but according to both parties, Georgia currently leads. There really hasn't been any definitive lead. Nobody has really run away with the lead in the series. It's a lot of 2-3-4 wins here and then 2-3-4 wins the other way. The most that have been won by either team is 7.
And that probably was Tebow years.
That more than likely was ball coach years. So Colin, I mean, give me some Georgia, Florida, man. Give me some Georgia, Florida. We gonna get into it.
Oh, dude. I mean, it's always, like you said, it's always till recently we've kind of had the upper hand, but like it's always been like a fun atmosphere. Like even if you asked me if I'm going, like actually going, I can always go back to our first dry run, quote unquote. I know we were talking about the Georgia Florida game and about at least one murder and all that kind of stuff. I was halfway joking, but not really. but it's always.
I know you weren't joking. That's why I was like, just one,
just one. But no, it's an awesome atmosphere, man. It's like any other rivalry, like maybe the the Iron Bowl, and that's it. I don't think it will ever be another rival. Like the Georgia Florida, and do not mistake, it is the Georgia Florida game. It's not the Florida Georgia game. It is the Georgia Florida game. So I don't think there are all the other rival games. I mean, this is in my mind much more of a rival game. But I mean, as much if not more important than the rest of them. I mean, it's much more fun than obviously the colleges and fans alike. So. I have fond memories of going. I mean, I've been to games that when it was the Gator Bowl down there before the Alltel Stadium was built. Gator Bowl was kind of much like FedEx. It's kind of a heaping pile of. It's been there for a minute. So whenever you're bouncing up and down in the bleachers, you can hear the whole stadium, or you can feel the whole stadium moving around. So I mean, a lot of Georgia and Florida, fans packed in that thing. So one that didn't kind of collapse on itself. but so it was Gator Bowl, then it was then Alltel Stadium when the Jags came to town, and then they had a lot more seats for the fans and stuff. And now I don't even know what it's called now in Jacksonville, but yeah, yeah, quite some fond memories down there. And actually, the funny thing is I have one of our first a guy that I went to high school with, Henry McMillan. He actually was one of our first, if not the first, high school football player to go to a collegiate school to play football, and he went to Florida.
Damn.
And
of course,
so that was Henry McMillan. That was back in 91, I believe, 91 or 90 or 91, somewhere around there. So look him up, Henry McMillan. He's still in Folkestone, I think it is. He might be in Jacksonville, but yeah, he's always he played for the Gators, and obviously everybody knows Champ Bailey and all of the Bailey brothers. Everybody played for Georgia, and a lot of people from my hometown. But yeah, dude, I can't wait. It's always fun. Like I said, we definitely need to make a trip down there to go either there or to Athens. You know what I mean?
Yes, we gotta do both. We gotta hit the cocktail party, and we gotta hit a game. We gotta hit a home game.
And this was crazy. They actually knocked down the Jacksonville landing down there, so I was kind of sad to see the landing go.
I never got a chance to see the Jacksonville landing. So I mean, I've heard stories that are legendary, but I never got a chance to see it.
But it was nice. I mean, it was like that's where everybody funneled to after the game, before the game. That's where everybody congregated. But now I don't really know. I haven't heard too much about what the drill is now. What folks are going down there, because like I said, I haven't been there in a while. But yeah, it was sad to see that go, because it was kind of like a pavilion type atmosphere, shops and that kind of stuff is where you could go. People coming in town just for the game, But I'm sure they probably figured something out. But yeah, it's always a man, it's fun. I want to go back, man. I want to go back. It has been way too long.
Yeah, and I actually would like to go before all is said and done.
Hopefully next year.
Yeah, I'm trying to get somebody, because I'm looking to see how many we have watching live right now. If you're watching live right now, please give us a shout in the comments, because we were going to throw some trivia questions about the game out here and see how many folks know their UGA Florida trivia history. So basically what we have is I've just got 3 questions. That's all I've got. We're not giving anything away today because we didn't plan that far ahead. Maybe we'll have something a little later on down the road, closer to the end of the season. But today we're going to throw a couple of we're going to throw a couple questions out there and see what your knowledge of the game, how well you know the game that we love so well. So that's what we got. So we'll come back to that in a second. We'll give it. Oh, I got at least one person. I'm gonna try and get our number 1 Florida fan from our SEC group to come in and see if they will come play some trivia. But in the meantime, between time, well, we know what the deal is right now. Georgia is pretty much master and commander of their own destiny.
Yeah.
At this point, there are some things that need. There are some things that need taken care of. Like Carson Beck really has to clean up. I know that Carson has thrown some. Here are 2 things on the offense that need to be cleaned up. 3, keep the running game. That was absolutely amazing. I know Texas was expecting Carson to sling it all over the field, and he did, but keep the running game. 2, Carson's got to clean up the interceptions. 3, the receivers have got to catch the doggone ball.
Yeah, that would definitely be helpful. Definitely be helpful.
And that's what I got. What do you got, man?
Yeah, I mean, I'm anxious to see if we run the ball like we did against Texas. I mean, or do we try it out again? Do we try to sling it? Have Carson sling the rock a little bit, and then if that doesn't work, then let's run it. Or we just come out to shoot out the gate. Come out straight out the gate with running the ball ETN, I'm anxious to see what happens. But I agree totally with everything you just said. I mean, a lot of cleaning up need to be done, and I know that's no secret to nobody. No secret to anybody, or must at least the team or Kirby. But I'd like to see. Obviously, I like to see Beck throw less interceptions. I mean, I like to see him throw the ball, but I want him to throw into our players, not their players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody's catching, and I like for us to catch the ball. You know what I mean?
I would like very much for us to be the ones catching the footballs that he throws. You know what I mean? Just saying. It doesn't do us any good, and he throws the ball. It's like, very good, you got somebody to catch it. Unfortunately, he's wearing a blue and orange jersey, and that does not do us any good. Since seeing that blue and orange and green are not our colors whatsoever. So
well, he said, well, we can't catch our own ball. They don't. Our team won't catch it. Let's throw it to the other. I know that's not the case, but
damn, why you gotta be so savage, bro? Why you gotta go on our boy like that? And you know what that is, though, man. That man got that 7 feet. I'm not even going to say that. I'm not going to put that out there. But just call it what it is. The man got a 7-figure NIL, and he's got a model quality girlfriend. And
you see his IG or reel or whatever that he put up some movie or some clip, and there was this girl saying you got to have a dog or something like that, and they pulled out it was a Labradoodle. I'm like, how you gonna do that? How you gonna say you gotta have a dog? She said my 2 favorite dogs. There was a Labradoodle and Carson.
That's nuts.
I was like, well, all right now.
Yeah. Well, hey, look, it looked like we had some folks jump in. They decided they wanted to play some trivia. Hello to those of you that just joined us. Please feel free to drop a comment. So we're not like I said, we're not giving anything away today, because we didn't plan for it. We will throw some trivia out there a little bit later on in the season, and we'll let you know. Your boy's going to put the thing out there. Hey, gang, here from Zagnif Central, here from the Zagnif Mobile, here from the Zagnif Porch. And I'll say, we'll be doing some things. We'll give away some things. But today we're just going to do some Georgia versus Florida trivia. All of this trivia is circumvented. All of this trivia circulates around the game and the history of the game. And we just want to test your knowledge. And I know you guys all have Google at your fingertips, so I'm only going to give you about 3 seconds to figure out the answer. And if I don't get an answer, and you know what, I'll give you 10 seconds to give me an answer in the comments. So, but you know what, I'll let you have 10 because we're not giving anything away. So fine, if you want to use Google or whatever, that's fine. So, are you ready to go? This is Zagnifity. I just made that up. I didn't want to break no copyright law, so I had to come up with something. UGA versus Florida trivia, and here is the very first question. The question is, where was the first game played? If you guys know where the first game was played, and then by where I mean what city? What city was the first Georgia versus Florida game played in? Now, mind you, I will take, there are 2 possible answers, and I will take either one of them. And there's a reason behind them being 2 possible answers. So, long time ago, as the American Pie, Don McLean once said in American Pie, excuse me, the 2 teams that resided in the 2 states adjacent to each other down on the southeastern border of the United States said, hey, you got a football team. We got a football team. Let's get together and play. And they scheduled a game together. And that's where, and I thought people would be popping in the comments to say some stuff and give us some comments to let us know. Because
maybe they're perplexed. Maybe they do not know.
Maybe they do not know. Maybe they're searching. Well, alrighty then. That's more than 10 seconds.
Where's the Google gangster that usually has all the info that everybody needs to know?
He's somewhere watching baseball or something like that. It's Monday night. There's a football game on. That's why he's not watching. Where was the first game played? Either answer would have been acceptable, but the very first game played between a Georgia school and a Florida school was played in Macon, Georgia in 1904. Now, this is the game that is not acknowledged by the University of Florida because I forget why it is, but that game is not acknowledged by the University of Florida. That is the game that we count in the records as far as win-loss totals, and Florida does not count that game. All right, so moving on to question number 2. Those of you that just joined us, hey, appreciate you. Let's see what we got here. Question number 2. How many times has the game been played in Georgia? That's question number 2. The game has been played in Georgia several times, but it's been played a specific amount. Yeah, it's a number, somewhere between 0 and whatever, because they played several of them. But since it looks like we got nobody typing and nobody chatting, we'll go ahead and give you the answer. The answer is dun, 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 dun. I don't have any fanfare. That makes me sad.
That makes me sad.
That makes me very sad. The number is 8. The game has been played 8 times in the state of Georgia, 5 in Athens, 1 in Macon, that aforementioned game, and the game that 2 games that were played in Savannah. Good town, by the way, Savannah. I heard a lot of good things come out of Savannah. A lot of good things come out of Savannah. Well, here's question number 3. And we'll move on. All right. Again, those of you that just joined us, we're doing a little Georgia, Florida trivia, and we are just throwing some questions out there. Test your Georgia, Florida trivia knowledge. Since the game, and we know that since for some time now, the game has been played in Jacksonville, and that's considered a neutral site. But since the game has been in Jacksonville, how many of the Florida-based games have not been played in Jacksonville? Today's contestants can also win a lifetime supply of minute rice.
A new car.
And that new car gonna be in my driveway. Don't play with me. All right. No guesses from the chat. Time's up. The answer was 3. The answer was 3, and that's actually not since it's been Jacksonville based. That's overall. The game has been played in Gainesville twice, in 1931 and 1994, and in Tampa once in 1919. Well, alrighty then. Our audience sure knows a lot about the Georgia Florida game. Sometimes you sit home. You know how we sit down and we come up with these ideas and we think they'll just go over. It'll be like, yeah, they'll love to do this, and then you do it, and it's like, okay. So that's where we are. So anyway, having said all of that, that was your Georgia, Florida trivia. We appreciate you tuning in today to This Week in UGA Football. Mr. Fingers here, Colin P there. Guess who's up next? Our buddy, Reverend Red Black. He sent me he texted me from a number I didn't recognize and wanted me to cash app him $75 so he could catch an Uber back to his crib. Rev, for those of y'all that don't know, Rev got a message that scared him a couple weeks ago, and he decided to go into hiding. And so he's just making his way back this week. He's making his way back this week. So before we go another further, ladies and gentlemen, our buddy, Reverend Red and Black. Talk to us, Rev.
Amen and amen. It is good to be in the house of the great bulldog spirit in the sky and with you, his beloved faithful, once more and again. I apologize for my extended absence. My anonymous tips to I'm sorry. I meant my personal physician advised me that it would be good if I spent some time away from things so that things could clear up. That's about as much as Rev can say about that, but sometimes we have to say things in silence. Anyway, we move on. We did see that the Dawgs won against Auburn. We saw that they won against Texas in convention fashion. Boy, they whooped them good. Now, we face a rival that we have faced for well over a century in the Florida Gators. Our oldest and most hated rival.
And we know that sometimes things can happen, although if things go as we expect, we will emerge victorious. Now we hope that the Dogs on the heels of their battle against the Longhorns do not look past the Gators onto Ole Miss. But something tells me that their leader, the great visor man that does all he can, who has the master plan, will talk about Kirby Smart for those of y'all wondering. The visor man will have the boys ready to go and raring to go when they hit the field this coming Saturday. Now here's some things that we gotta look out for. We gotta look out for that deep ball. That boy Lagway got an arm, and he got one of the best deep ball completion percentages in all of college football. So we got to look out for that. But I think that we will be ready. So I'm going to go ahead and give, even though Florida has 4 wins, but there ain't a whole lot you can say about that, because sometimes wins is just wins. Shots fired. I meant they ain't played nobody. Shot. I'm sorry, Rev got something stuck in his throat today.
Pew, pew.
We think that the Dogs will come out victorious, and unfortunately probably send the man known as Sunbelt Billy into an early retirement from this particular job. So we don't know, but who knows, they might hold on to him for the end of the season. Ain't no telling. Early signings and all that kind of stuff. Rev don't get into all that. I just wear my stolen talk like I've been smoking cigars since I was 6. Anyway, bye-bye, Sunbelt Bill. I'm sorry, it's happening again. Sorry. I had to. The Rev was having a little bit of a coughing fit. We back now. Having said all of that, the Georgia Bulldogs 45, the Gators 15. That is what I have for you. The great Bulldog Spirit in the Sky be with each and every one of you. I'm going to turn you back over to Colin and Fingers now. And as we say each and every week, go Dogs.
Thank you so much, Rev. We appreciate you, man.
What's up, man?
No, you have no idea how bad my throat hurts after I get done doing taping that. And sometimes it takes about a half hour and multiple takes. And then I started out by saying, I said something else. I said the Gators 18, the Bulldogs 52, and then I turned around and said 45-17. And then I was like, okay, which score do I say the most? And then I went back, and that's the one I recorded. That's the one I went with. But Rev and Red and Black, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you, Rev, for stopping through and being a part of the show. That will be available as a standalone on the YouTube channel a little bit later on for those of you that want to point and laugh or maybe give it a share. But definitely, we talked about some things we need to see, and Rev hit on a very good point. DJ Lagway, after taking over from Graham Mertz with the torn ACL, has thrown for 1,024 yards and 5 touchdowns. Now, he's also thrown 5 interceptions, but his completion percentage, his deep ball completion percentage is something insane. He's got not insane, but 63.2. His overall is 62.8, and he's averaging almost 12 yards a pass. So that means basically every pass he's throwing is a first down, give or take. Now, granted, he's probably throwing a lot. I haven't really seen them play yet. This will be my first time seeing them play. So, now here's something else. What are you looking for?
Yeah, I mean, that being said, that will definitely put a little bit of stress on our secondary. But I mean, our defense is long. I mean, I'm anxious to see if our defense steps up like it did last week.
I think they got the fire in them now, though, man.
I think they did. Yeah, like I said, the last show, I think we kind of maybe have turned the corner and maybe have clicked the switch to get on all cylinders finally for the defense. Now, our just main thing is now we need to get our offense fired up and get them both going at the same time, both defense and offense. But I mean, if that is true, I mean, I'm looking at the stats too: 1,024, 5 and 5, 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So I mean, that will be true test for our secondary. Our secondary better not, best not lay back or be, lax back there because he'll pick them apart if that's his long ball percentage is what you say it is. So, I'm expecting to. I mean, I just hope we don't I don't think we don't have a habit of doing this. I don't think, but we do every now and then. But I don't want to look past Florida. I don't want those guys to act like it's a foregone conclusion that we're going to walk all over Florida. So, because that's when it comes up and bites in them hind parts,
Yeah, and for him being a gunslinger, our DBs really need to be on point, and they need to be careful about. We've gotten flagged at some crucial times. Now, what's going to hurt? Dan Jackson.
Yeah.
We don't have him in the first half, and matter of fact, we got 2 DBs that are out, and they were crucial in last week's victory. And we need everybody else to step up their game and hold it down until the second half. The other thing we need to see, definitely, I mentioned this earlier, that run game. I want to see Oscar Delp, visor man. What was that? What Rev said, the visor man with the master plan or whatever it is.
Yeah.
We need
and
that.
Lucky,
And we need to see Lucky, and we need to see more out of Travis, and we need to see more out of God. The boy popped up, and they played the hell out of him in game 1 against Clemson, and then they barely let him. Frazier need to get him out there.
I mean, there's a laundry list of people that I personally would love to see. I mean, like my boy Cash, put him back in there. We got a litany of people that we can throw in.
Hold on though. Cash is still getting touches. Cash is like Lad McConkey that freshman year. He's get a touch here and a touch there. Watch what I tell you. Next year is probably gonna be Cash's breakout year. I mean, he probably ain't gonna grow no bigger, but then Lad wasn't no big dude neither. So
no,
Cash.
he's not a small dude. He's 6 something. He's 6'3", I think, but he don't look it on the field. But anyway,
well, guy, he's on the field with a bunch of monsters.
Right.
So
exactly.
So you know how I do. I always roll with Rev with his prediction. So I'm rolling with Rev and his prediction. What you got for me?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Well, not 45. Let's see, as far as the score wise. How about? The over-under is 52. I would say we're gonna hit 52. I say 52. Let's go 52-17. That's a
52-17. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep that in mind. Write that down somewhere. We'll come back to it. I mean, Rev put mine out, so we got it. Write that down somewhere. Yo, Rev was firing shots from the back row, wasn't he?
He was sublims all over the place. Sublims.
Bruh, he was like Steph Curry during his warm-up shooting from the tunnel.
Right.
It's like pew pew.
Pew pew. Buy some of it.
Yeah, so final thoughts. Honestly, it's been a great show today. I think I'm very excited. I want to see the Dogs do the doggone thing, no pun intended, and go ahead and run this table. But just overall, outside of the SEC, this has been a phenomenal college football season. Like nobody had just outright run away with it. And every time you think somebody's this was gonna be the one to come out of the pack now. Oh, they lost. Oh, this was gonna come out of the pack. Oh, they lost. Georgia was the preseason number 1, and then looking kind of hinky, and then Alabama made us look like a bunch of second grade junior varsity, not second grade varsity.
Yeah.
That's true. How bad you got to be junior varsity in second grade.
Second grade. Yeah. And there's a lot of teams had their first loss earlier in the season. You know what I'm saying? And I think, and to be honest with you, I love this no East-West thing in the SEC. I mean, I like it. I do like it because
do you though?
I mean, I'm being honest. I do.
Well, let's be real. Let's be real though. Now, since it's a free for all, it's king of the hill. Last team standing, which I kind of like. I forgot to throw this stat out here, man. I hadn't even thought about this. Do you know that Beck only throws picks if he goes over 40 attempts so far this season? The only time he's throwing any picks is if he goes over 40 attempts.
That's interesting.
So I don't know if he's not getting enough reps and his arm is getting tired or whatever it is. But every game that he's had 40 attempts or less this season, he has not thrown a pick.
That's interesting. I mean, I don't. I mean, that, from what I see, there's plenty of zip on that ball. Just when he throws them interceptions, sometimes maybe a little bit of air underneath it sometimes. But I mean, yeah, that's very interesting. But
Yeah, I had to look at it and break it down. I was like, well, let me see what's going on with this kid. And then I was like, wait a minute. 33, 35.
He's averaging close to 40 attempts per game, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying if we can keep him under, if coach can keep him under that and utilize that running game like he did 2 weeks ago, I think we'll be all right. And I think if once the running game gets to going good, because that was the bread and butter, the 2 championship years, the bread and butter. Up the middle, up the off side, off left, off right, jet sweep, up the middle, up the gut, and then they in run formation. Oh, snap, he's dropping back to pass. You feel me? Yep. And that worked. And that, I mean, Stetson Bennett was averaging, I think, 40, somewhere between 40 and 50 passes a game. But they were also running just as many run plays. It wasn't just all like put it on Carson's shoulders.
Right. I agree there totally. Yep. Yeah, buddy.
So yeah. But having said that, man, I'm looking forward to this weekend. There's another slate of games that looks to be very promising and be very interesting. And I'm looking forward to them. And that's all I really got is that I'm just looking forward to this weekend in football, especially the Georgia-Florida game. That's, I think, of all the games we play every year, it's my favorite.
Yeah, I agree. I agree totally. Absolutely.
So
the only thing I would add to that is that if you still have if talking about what I went on the field trip today. If you guys, if you're still young enough at heart or what have you, and you have a kid that's still in school, I suggest, if not all the time, go to a field trip because it's a lot different than it was back in the day when you and I fingers went on the field trip. It was a lot different than it was back in the day for me and you. But it was. I mean, it's fun. Not just to mention just hanging out with my boy. I mean, just to see how the kids interact and watching them. I don't know though. Like anything else, the fish start to kind of turn a little sour after a few after a few minutes. But little small doses. But yeah, no, I had fun. I just love if you get a chance and can handle it, I suggest going on a field trip with your son or daughter, having, if you have one, if you have a child in the school and have a chance to go. I mean, it was fun.
Yeah. Most definitely.
That's all I wanted to say there.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got too. I just want to, thank you guys for, I did something interesting this weekend. Like I said, I did the football game. That was it. I didn't go to karaoke. I didn't do anything. I just sat at home. And man, today kind of wore me out, but not like a normal Monday. Not like I'm still kind of, recovering from the weekend. Not that I do any drinking or partying, but I wasn't doing that whole recovering from the weekend.
Right.
When it was time to go to work today. So, if you get a chance to just sit still, I know the weekend is for doing stuff, but sometimes just sit down. Don't do nothing. Put your feet up. I mean, I did some stuff here at the house that needed done. I needed clothes clean. Needed to take some trash out, stuff like that. I cooked a little bit, but I didn't go too crazy this weekend. And you know what? I foresee myself being asleep. It is 8:45 here right now, 8:44. I foresee being asleep in the next hour and 16 minutes, as long as things don't get too crazy. Feel me?
Yep. I can guarantee that'll be me. I can guarantee my eyes will be.
Oh yeah, I know, Mr. Oh snap! It's 8 o'clock. Ah,
yeah, I was taking a nap, dude. I didn't even bat an eye. It was like when Brady's mom came and got him. I laid down. I'm gonna take that just a little bit of a nap, and then blah 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 ring, blah 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 ring. Hey man,
that's the phone, Eddie. That's not me.
I was like, what's up? Just waiting on you, dog. What? Wait, what time is it? 7, 6, 8, 9, 20? Yeah, I'm glad you called. Glad my phone was on ring. So
yeah, man. I haven't been in here going calling the pop in sooner or later.
yeah. Fast me late.
Right. Well, you guys, y'all be good. We appreciate y'all tuning in to this edition of this week. Football coming up this week. Get yourself somewhere, sit down, have yourself a cold one, put your feet up, and enjoy the game. On behalf of myself and my co-host, Colin P. from the DMV, this has been This Week in UGA Football, and we appreciate y'all tuning in, and we will see you again soon. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Wait, they're not doing it.
Now that's how you supposed to drive. From now on, that's how you drive.